Hello, it's me, Kirk Weber, from Weber Chiropractic here in Fenelton, Pennsylvania, 1808 Route 422 East, and 724-285-9093. And I'm here to talk to you today about things chiropractic. Now, today I want to talk to you a little bit about the history of chiropractic. It was said by the Italian philosopher George Santayana, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And this saying has been mutated and changed and repeated throughout history many, many times. But essentially the gist of what's being said is that by looking at who we are and where we have come from, we can determine where we're headed in the future. Therefore, knowing our history is extremely important. Every person, every organization, every group has a past. And in order to succeed, we need to know that past and learn from those mistakes. This is what you and I study as history. Well, chiropractic has a history as well. And as a chiropractor, it's good for me to know that history. And as a patient, and thus part of the chiropractic family, it's good for you to know it as well. See, if you understand the roots of chiropractic, you will better understand your chiropractor. And a better understanding of your chiropractor will help you understand the course of treatment that your chiropractor has chosen for you in the recovery process of your condition. Confidence in your physician is an acknowledged fact in the treatment process. So I want to give you a small history of chiropractic. And I'm going to start by setting the time frame for you so you can put things in a proper perspective. The year was 1890, and the Civil War had been over for approximately 25 years. The country was undergoing an industrial revolution, and the Gilded Age entrepreneurs were at their zenith. The names like Carnegie, Frick, Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Harvey Firestone were the rock stars of the day. The country was changing from a rural agrarian society to an urban industrial-based society. In the field of science, there had also been some rapid advancements. In Germany, Wilhelm Röntgen had just discovered the X-ray. It's interesting to note that chiropractors were the first physicians to utilize X-rays in their practice. In Davenport, Iowa, a man by the name of Daniel David Palmer, D.D. Palmer, was a man of means. D.D. owned many properties in Davenport and made his living by renting these properties to businesses and to individual persons as dwellings. Now, D.D. also was a student of anatomy and also was a student of magnetic healing. Now, it's interesting to note also that at this time, at this point in today's history, that magnetic healing has made a small comeback in popularity. But D.D. had a clientele of people who saw him on a regular basis for magnetic treatments. Now, D.D. was wealthy enough that he was able to afford a manservant, a valet, by the name of Harvey Lilliard. And Harvey, a black man, was stone deaf. So one day Harvey was on D.D.'s table receiving his magnetic treatment when D.D. felt a small lump on the side of Harvey's neck. D.D. postulated that this was a vertebra that had been misaligned and further thought that if he had pushed on that vertebra to realign it, there might be a change in the nerve signals to the hearing, and this might help Harvey out. So that is exactly what he did. He corrected the subluxation in the neck, and hearing was restored for Harvey, and the science of chiropractic was born. Now, D.D. was very intrigued by what had happened, and he studied it for the rest of his days. And he recruited a partner, a medical doctor by the name of Samuel Weed, and the two of them studied and eventually initiated the Palmer Chiropractic College. Now, in a small town 20 miles from Davenport, which was known as Kirksville, Missouri, a medical doctor by the name of Andrew Taylor Still came up with the idea of osteopathy. And this science was based on the idea that a vertebral misalignment could cause health problems. Very same idea as chiropractic. So the debate continues today as to the true origin of this science, osteopathy or chiropractic. Now the chiropractors call the misaligned vertebra a subluxation, osteopaths call it an osteopathic lesion. The manipulative techniques between the two ways of thinking are similar, but not the same. In my own practice, I use both sciences techniques because I feel this affords the patient the best chance at recovery. Years later, with the help of Mark Twain, osteopaths were finally accepted by the medical profession and were granted licensure status. The osteopaths were permitted with this legislation to prescribe medications and to do surgical rotations, OB-GYN rotations, these types of things, and they incorporated them into their practices and practice now as surgeons and OB-GYNs. And their art of manipulation has started to die out and has been left to the chiropractors for the most part. Chiropractic went through its own period of internal strife after having been founded. D.D. Palmer had a son, Bartlett Joshua Palmer, B.J. Palmer, and B.J. had been influenced to become a chiropractor. And as often as is the case with fathers and sons, the Palmers had some disagreements regarding chiropractic. D.D. was a science-oriented man and spent the remaining years of his life searching for the science behind chiropractic. How did it work? Why did it work? B.J. was a little more philosophically oriented and believed that chiropractic was a gift from nature. He believed in the innate, the body's way of healing itself, and he worked to develop that philosophy into his chiropractic teachings. The Palmers went on to disagree to such an extent that a rift formed between the two men, and shortly after D.D.'s death, his followers broke away from the chiropractic college at Davenport to form their own science-based chiropractic college. The disagreement between father and son had been so intense that rumors still exist today that D.D. Palmer had been run over by a car driven by B.J. Palmer in a parade in Davenport, Iowa, that was being held to honor their most famous sons. It's rumored that D.D. had died as a result of those injuries sustained in that accident. Now, the two philosophies still exist today, but are not nearly as antagonistic to each other as they once were. The philosophical-oriented chiropractors have been at times labeled as straights, and this name was applied to them because these chiropractors believed that only chiropractic manipulation was necessary to heal a patient. They believed that the innate would do the rest once stimulated. The followers of D.D. Palmer incorporated more science into their practices and became known as the mixers. This was because they were mixing chiropractic with medicine. Today, there's been more of a meeting in the middle by the chiropractors on both sides of the aisle. The straights have adopted some of the mixers' way of doing things and vice versa. 126 years after the inception of chiropractic, chiropractors now find themselves on the precipice of a bold new future. The changes in insurance laws, the ever-rising costs of medical care, and the more expansive willingness by the public to accept conservative care has propelled the chiropractor to a more lofty position in the medical community. Chiropractors are now regularly referred patients by MDs. They're accepted in hospitals to treat patients and have been granted insurance payment rights in all 50 states. The future looks bright for chiropractic, and as we venture into the 21st century, I believe that chiropractic will gain a much larger portion of the available patient base. I believe that just due to costs alone, the entire medical community will look to chiropractors as a first line of care for patients entering treatment. Well, folks, that's the history of chiropractic. I think it's kind of fascinating, but if you care to comment, please send us a post. We can start a discussion on anything in chiropractic, but we can start one on the history of chiropractic. If this is interesting to you and like to talk to me in person, please give us a call at 724-285-9093 or stop in and see us at 1808 Route 422 East in Fenelton. This is Weber Chiropractic, home of the LX Advantage, the ability to get chiropractic care affordable for you. So until next time, when we talk about things chiropractic, this is Kirk Weber saying good health to you.